What are these pills you have down there, sir?
So these are Altoids. So
Okay.
trying to
Altoids. Quote unquote Altoids.
Ready?
So, boys, in this episode of Money Walks, Bullshit Talks, who do we have here? Who's this fine young gentleman?
So
Do you know him?
I'm kind of impressed right now. We got Jimmy Flick.
Yeah. The Jimmy Flick?
The Jimmy Flick.
Who is Jimmy Flick?
I don't know.
I don't know. Who the fuck?
Where are we
where?
right now?
What happened
listening,
right now?
I can't even think. Are we started?
So,
Is this running?
so I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of weird. I almost wore my shirt, but you both are wearing your FCF shirts. So Jimmy Flick is right here. UFC Jimmy Flick, not FCF. But hey,
Actually, Jimmy Flick.
did you start with FCF?
No, FCF champion, LFA champion, there's another champion as well. But also, Jimmy Flick has fought in the UFC, and we'll get to why we're
So
saying
he's legit.
has.
That's what you're telling me. He's
Well,
legit.
he is literally my worst nightmare from the time I was 22 until like now. Because if you drink too
Because
much
you were
in a bar,
bully.
I was not a what?
You were such a
I was
bully.
not a bully. But if you drink too much,
See it.
and let's say hypothetically you're one of those guys that has the old alcohol-induced big mouth syndrome. That's a thing.
Dude,
You need alcohol for that?
No.
you don't have to.
That's not true.
It definitely helps me. So.
It does. So here's the thing. Here's why Jimmy is so scary. And eventually we may actually let Jimmy talk, but this is why Jimmy's so scary. Jimmy, how much do you weigh right now? And you're walking around weight.
About 165.
165.
My left leg, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. And so your career, what did you fight at?
125 pounds.
Whoa.
Jesus.
What else? Always?
No way.
My last 4 fights.
125?
At 125?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. 125?
I get as big as 175 pounds, so.
Good God.
All right.
So here's what's so scary, right?
Hey, I'm going to say something scary. I'm going to run real quick.
You go.
Jim, 125? You skinny motherfucker.
Run away.
I'm just kidding.
So 125, fights
That's
at 125, walks around at 160, 165. Here's the thing. Let's say you're the average gentleman that's had too much to drink and starts getting a little mouthy.
I feel like we're talking about you this entire time.
Yeah, it looks like you. You
No.
look like the dude.
No. For the record,
Really, dude. Hey, my friend's Jimmy. You would be like the guy about, hey, he's my friend. You get your ass kicked.
Exactly. So
I would say the
here's
same thing. My big ass, I'd be like, do you know what Jimmy Flick is, motherfucker? All right.
So bouncing between, let's say I bounce between 190, 195, right? You start talking and you see Jimmy Flick walk up. Jimmy Flick weighs less than me. However,
I'd flick him in the head and look at him. Fuck you, Jimmy. I was just kidding.
Man.
wow.
I said,
We're going to lead into a good
Wait a second. Wait.
You got some issues we need to talk through,
Let's
brother.
run with this.
there's 4
All right.
knives right here and a couple beer cans.
Austin,
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
can we play this
I love
out?
you.
How do we get audio? Mike, can we get audio outside of just right here?
No,
How do we do that?
Hey, how about just me crying?
Yeah.
Just me crying, not
okay.
yeah.
So-
Once he stands up, I'll start crying. But anyways, your story.
So how would this work? Let's play this out.
It would
Okay.
not work.
No, we're gonna exactly, and I feel the exact same way. So let's play something out. Let's come over here. Can we come over here?
No, we're
No,
keeping
we're
the
going.
table.
We're gonna go
No,
over here.
We're not going weird.
We're gonna walk over here, and we're gonna play something out as it would.
me on camera like crying right now.
Well,
on,
you
you
cry
can
all
do
the
it.
time. It doesn't take much
Well, I
to get
know
you
it,
on camera.
but when
crying.
Jimmy's here, I'm not gonna fight Jimmy because
Well, obviously you're
He
not
literally
gonna
just
fight
texted
Jimmy.
Uber. He was like, please come get me.
Well,
Jesus.
tell me you're
I
dying.
had no idea what I was signing up for.
hey,
These guys are idiots.
That's why my fat. What's it called? Fat
So
ass.
here's-
It's gross. Carries a gun. Look, he's backing up now.
We're gonna-
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
That's because he's a predator. Okay, and you're about
Said,
to be the prey.
what?
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to step over here.
No, we're not.
And we're going to let things play out.
Come on.
No, Jesus.
Let's do it.
What is happening right now?
I don't know. I think you're about to get your ass kicked.
Come here. You're not going to get your ass kicked. Shut up.
All right, we got it. Camera. All right,
So here's what I want to do.
all right, Jimmy, do a simple takedown.
Wait, not a takedown. I want, all right, let's say this is a,
I don't want to punch you in the face.
well, if he takes you down, you're going to fall along the way.
try it later.
Well, yeah. But let's say hypothetically,
Okay, all right.
you're a big guy,
Yes.
and you
I
say,
weigh 300
hey
pounds.
man, like, and what happens at that point? There's an instance where things cannot be brought back down, right? So things have escalated.
So you're saying, what if some doucher goes, hey, little dude,
Yeah.
let me push you?
Yeah.
If I, okay.
This is what happened? Yep. Right?
Wow.
Roll out.
That was
Roll it over, yeah.
okay.
You're supposed to tap.
Dude, that
I was
is,
afraid he was gonna go sleep.
okay, so that was,
Okay, but that brings us to another segment too.
I can't.
no.
I can't. Perfect. I cannot fathom how easy that was.
Right.
Okay, so
No.
first off, I'm gonna show all y'all that are here.
Well, let me say how
this
awesome
picture.
that was before you show that. I am 6'1". I
All
weigh
your blood's
300 pounds.
All your blood's in your face.
I just got twirled
Got a little
up.
poo poo in your britches.
Oh, okay. So I heard about this. So
Okay, so y'all are looking at a mugshot.
Okay.
Look like a big guy to y'all?
that's
Yeah.
a big boy.
Kind
Looks like my dad,
Pretty damn big.
What'd you do, Dad?
He's
All
about
right.
he's about Austin size.
So this guy right here
I can't grow up.
was
here,
at a
but-
convenience store out by my house, beating on his old lady,
in Sand Springs.
in out off of 209th in Sand Springs.
Okay.
And a lady came outside and was like, "Hey, this dude's hitting his old lady." Well, the lady behind the cash register is like 60 years old. She came around the corner with the baseball bat. I went to go hit him with it, but he hit her and dropped her. He was on his way out the door. I didn't know that. I opened the door and this guy punched me right in the face. Kind of just like you
Yeah,
kind
like
of pushed
I was
me.
just
Yeah,
like
I
you.
So that was
definitely didn't
perfect.
do.
Besides, I really picked him up and
Yeah.
slammed him, punched
Oh,
him
if
in
you
the
did that
nose
in
a
real
couple
life, it would've
times.
hurt. He was about my size, though.
Oh yeah, and he was drunk as hell, like drunker. Like,
I don't believe that.
Dude,
you had me up until that point.
Throwing my hat is, but
But yeah, he was pretty bad, man. And I took him down, busted his nose, and put him in a Kimura. And we waited until the cops got there. And they asked if I wanted a job, and I said no.
Maybe next time.
how long did you have to hold
Yeah.
him for? Like,
Oh well, so after I took him down and I got him down and I put him in the Kimura, made sure
Yeah.
he didn't have no weapons.
he can't move. He
So
can't move after that.
yeah, and then I actually patted him on the belly and I was like, "Hey man, I just retired a week ago. I'm
So,
not even supposed
and-
to be fighting."
Maybe we
you
could
know?
just stop
in a-
this. That'd be
so
great.
this is recent.
Oh, this is like literally 2 weeks ago.
Holy
Was he-
shit, that's- okay? So
he was drunk as
and
hell.
here's
Belligerent
a-
the entire time, or did he calm down once
he got
you?
down and I had him there for a little bit, he was like, "Hey man, I want to give you 5. I want to give you dats." And I was like, "I'm not letting you go," you know. And I had
Right.
his arm trapped, so I slapped his hand. And I had a buddy there that was holding his legs while he couldn't kick. But he calmed down, and then I seen he was bleeding, so I lifted him up, and then I let him start cleaning himself up. He was like, "I'll pay y'all, just let me go." And I was like, "Nah, you're going to jail."
Dude,
Sorry, man.
that's-
So he punched his girlfriend, wife,
Yes.
and an old lady convenience
Yes.
store.
Did you know that
worker.
before, or
Oh,
you just
no.
saw him running out?
I just heard a lady came out and was like, "He's punching him, he's punching him." And I already knew that he was already pretty aggravated with his female, his wife
That's
or
not
girlfriend.
so.
She came running out before I even made it to the door.
His lady.
Wife,
You were
yeah.
just jumping out of your car, fixing to walk in, and you saw this.
I had already been at the store and I had seen they were fighting, but I just stayed outside at the gas station and
Just
I was
checking it out.
and I was talking to a friend. And as I was talking to a friend, I told my wife, I was like, "Hey, we're not getting into it. We're just gonna watch. If
Right.
anything happens, then I'll intervene." And then that's when something happened. And then I didn't know that the lady came around the corner with the baseball bat and got punched until after. So, and then she actually went to the hospital. She said she was all right. It took her about a week before she got back to work. I mean, it's my local convenience store, so I go there all the time. So, but it's a pretty big deal, man. So, like I said, he's a big old dude.
That's amazing.
A hero, and you should have a Captain America shield.
Jimmy, I have a very similar story, except I end up asleep on the concrete and not knowing where I am when I wake up. So,
The old lady at the convenience store punched you.
yeah,
out.
she knocked me out. She was like, "Why do you keep stealing my chicken nuggets?"
No, Jimmy, that's amazing. Like, where in your training? So we'll talk about it, but you recently announced that you retired for getting your head kicked in. Like, we'll talk about it soon. But so you're in a situation like that, and you're a trained weapon. Like, I mean, it's always like a super, and I'm a superhero nerd, like giant comic book nerd. 300-pound. Hey, everybody, I read comic books. I do, but I love Marvel. But okay, they'll laugh at me.
This is exactly how the whole time is going to be. Just
No. Okay, I'm sorry. But when I hear that,
Mike's like,
dude,
I have to edit this.
I've looked up to you since I
Jesus.
first met you at my brewery. You kicked ass, but when you tell a story like that, I'm like, dude, that's insane. Like, when does it ever stop? You know, you hear about stuff going on in the news all the time now, but now you're in a small town. A UFC title, I mean, you got to fight, not title fight. Sorry, I don't know. You fought in the UFC, but you came back home, and that happened. So it's got to be cool, but sorry, I'll shut up.
So no, exactly.
Thank you.
It's just
Jumping on what Austin's saying. So, if you could, I mean, what got you into training in mixed martial arts, and kind of run us through that day and kind of the build up to what built your career?
I mean, you clearly love helping people, right? So
Except for him, don't ever help him. In fact, you shouldn't have let it go. I was going to make him tap, and you really let me down.
I was scared.
You let
I was
me down,
afraid
Jimmy.
he wouldn't.
But anyway,
tap.
so I wouldn't.
He would 100%. He would tap.
I'd cry.
He'd be like, I forgot what to do with my hands.
No, but go ahead, brother. Sorry.
No, it's been great, man. Just growing up, I had a tough life, and I always knew I wanted to do something in life. I just didn't know what it was. I've always been in sports, and when I got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I fell in love with it, and it just took off, and I started fighting, and I loved it, and I made a great career out of it, but I got 2 kids. I got a wife. 30 came quick. So.
Yeah. Hear that.
Kids, boy,
You
girls.
hear that.
Both girls. One
Both
just turned
girls?
9 last week, and the other one turns 4 in June. So it's going by
And
quick.
she couldn't be a fighter like daddy, or
I think the little one, maybe. I call her my butthole baby because she looks like she came right out of my butthole.
man, if I said that to my son,
That's so sweet. It's so cute.
no,
It was
that's
my only shot at a boy. So.
well, that's awesome, man. So you grew up around here, right?
Yeah, Sand Springs, born and
Sand
raised.
Springs, born and raised. So not a huge school, but where
It's
when,
6A.
like
Right?
well,
Sand Springs is actually for the state of
it's
Oklahoma.
like
is
5A. No, it's
No, it's 6A.
Yeah.
It might
Wow,
be
you're
5A
so-
no,
now.
it's right. No, I played Sand Springs. I went to Union. Sorry,
Yeah.
that there were.
Yeah.
But man, I wrestled too, but there's some tough bastards there. But
So what
when
moved
did-
you into, like, what made that decision to actually, you started doing BJJ?
start fighting? Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of moved you into the semi-professional and then going professional?
Well, before that, at 17, I ended up dropping out of school. I wrestled my whole life, but I just was never committed to school.
You started in Sand Springs and
Well,
it's
no, in
always
Sand
been a
Springs,
good
I just
school.
started. Yeah, I started wrestling at 3 years old.
Yeah.
And then at 17, I dropped out of school, and my dad lived in Corpus Christi, Texas, and he said you can move down here, and because he was traveling for the oil field at that time, it was really hot then. So, we moved down there, and I got into a gym immediately. Started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I started competing, and then next thing I know, at 18, I was fighting. At 19,
What led you to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over everything else? Just rolling.
well, just we knew that's
I
what
mean,
we
you're a
needed to
wrestler,
start.
so Jiu-Jitsu. That's. I mean, that's amazing. But then,
Well, if you're going to
MMA.
be an MMA fighter,
Right.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is going to be your start if you don't have wrestling
so
already.
you had that in your mind.
Yeah, and I already had wrestling. Me and my brother, I mean, I had an older brother, 2 older brothers, but one of my older brothers, he's only a year and a half older than me.
Right.
So we are already grappling and watching The Ultimate Fighter and doing all
So you
that
guys
stuff.
are in the backyard or in the
Oh, yeah.
shit, just in the house, just beating.
We
the
always
shit out
talked
of each
about fighting each other and all that stuff, too, for big money. And then they made that movie, The Fighter. And,
other. Dude, that's
Channing Tatum.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect
yeah,
spot.
so well, we always, seen that stuff growing up, and we really didn't, like you said, we didn't make it in school.
Yeah.
We didn't have no trades. There was nothing to fall back on. We're athletic kids, and
Yeah.
So as I'm a very emotional. You'll figure I'm the most emotional fat kid you'll ever meet. But we got Brad
True.
and Jason here. We all have kids, but my kids are 4, 2, and about to have another kid, and I'm another boy. I'm scared shitless. I'm gonna say that. And Brad,
At least it's a boy.
yeah, I know. It's another girl, I'll start crying. But I loved, like I'm trying to wrestle them and fight them a little bit. When's the perfect age for a kid like just any other kid to go wrestle? Not have to be a crazy if they're gonna be UFC, do you have to start like when you're you get out the womb and your dad beats the shit out of you? I've had issues,
Yes, that works really
so it's
well.
like wrestling, my dad, where was he at? But not what I'm saying, but what would be the perfect age if you could say this?
well, that's a good question. Basically,
Fuck you guys. They're laughing.
basically everybody's different. Like for example, I started at 3. I'm already 30, and I'm wore the fuck out.
Dude, I'm
done with that
35
shit.
and
dude.
I wrestled for
I've
a
been
few
cutting
years.
weight since the 2nd grade.
Yeah, fuck that.
I had
That
the
needs-
teachers called DHS because they're like, this kid's got a slim fast for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was a picky
You're
eater.
wrestling.
That's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
I did,
have a
yeah.
match.
So, my whole life I've been doing it. But I knew I wanted to do something athletic. Now, other people, they just got into the sport 5 years ago at young, 20 years old. And
Right.
they're successful. They're going to have a longer career. It can go longer.
Right.
So I think everybody's different, but I think if you do throw your kid in young and early, they're going to wear themselves out a lot quicker. And
Yeah.
that's just what you got to worry about.
Well, like wrestling. When you say wrestling, it's just getting too early, too quick. That's like I grew up. I'm 5 years older than you, but I'm like, man, that's insane. Like we're doing this and did these many tournaments, cutting weight. I'm like, damn, no, you shouldn't cut weight. Glad I'm a fat kid, so I always had to wrestle the fat kid. So,
I want to be a fat kid.
dude, 185. I wrestled at 185. It's gross. I had all the sweaty kids, but some of them are good. I should say that, but no, it's amazing, man. So you have an amazing family now. You've officially retired. What's next? And sorry, Brad, I'm probably just talking too much. I just got the look from Brad. He's got the notes, so. I'm going to shut up right now and drink another beer. So, sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
You didn't even finish that thought. Where were you going there?
I have no idea.
I turned it to Brad.
But if you haven't heard, what's next is I'm writing a book. I've been writing a book about my story, about how everything
Jimmy's
started.
saving us right
We've
now.
heard, thank
Jimmy's
you, Jimmy.
saving
Number
us.
one, we have heard because we were there. Tell us about it, though.
Sorry.
I don't remember if he was or if he remembers being there. So
He was there. He was there. Does not remember being there, but yes, he
I
was there.
But do you remember being there?
I do.
he remembers the story. But yeah, I'm
do
writing
remember.
a book about the start and then why I'm retiring, and especially why I'm retiring so young. And a lot of people are like, well, you won $70,000 in that fight, and
Right.
so much more money could be made. Well, could be. And I could also lose a lot along the way, and
Yeah.
family, and that's what a lot of it's got to do with, is
So-
a lot of family.
Let's talk about that, Jimmy. So that is a big question. I'm sure you've been hit with it time and time again, right? So you had a big year last year. You broke through. You went up. LFA won the belt up there, correct?
Yeah, right after the FCF title.
Yes, won FCF. Went up, set up LFA in Montana.
South
Was it?
Dakota.
South Dakota. Went up there, took that, and then had your opportunity with the Dana White Contender Series, right? Come in, first bout, and actually I want you to take us through that first bout, that first UFC bout.
Well, at first though, it was actually scheduled for December 5th, and we made weight.
Of 2019.
Of 2019.
Yeah.
Yes. And we made weight, and the whole time my opponent was wearing sunglasses. We just thought it was, he didn't
Super
want to
cool.
look, or he didn't want to look a man in his eyes,
podcast.
So, but come to find out, 20 minutes before I got on the bus to head to the venue, they told me that he had pink eye and that we were not going to be fighting. And it was heartbreaking. And then they were like, well, do you want to fight in 2 weeks? And I'm like, well, not really. I was already 146 pounds when I weighed in at 125 pounds 24 hours before that.
Jesus.
But we decided to go ahead and take the fight. I got right back to training that night. I even woke up at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning the next morning and ran 3 miles before I jumped on the plane because I couldn't sleep, dude. It was heartbreaking. But then we did fight on December 19th, and we landed the third flying triangle in UFC history.
So what we have here, we have it keyed up. We have the flying triangle. If we could, go ahead, and guys, if you look right here, we're going to play it here. And I want Jimmy to walk us through what's going on during this piece.
And just keep in mind, I would have done this to you if I knew.
He was holding back
He had a
because
blue shirt on.
he was worried about you. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Tender guy. Tender.
I'm scared, but let's watch.
He's like, I'm still shaking. Still shaking. Oh.
We got the remote. There we go. That
No one
help.
puts us in. This is a horrible idea.
Nobody puts.
So where they're about to start it, I actually just got back up to my feet.
Okay.
He was on top of me, had a chance to break out.
Okay, here we go.
And right here, I throw the head kick, and he grabs it. And when he grabbed the head kick, I jumped up for a flying triangle. A lot of people are like, why didn't he slam him? Why didn't he do this? And a lot of people don't understand is when he got kicked, he just grabbed. Well, he grabbed my leg, and when he underhooked my leg, he set himself up for a triangle.
Drop your leg right there.
So then right here, when I hook his leg, he actually says his knee pops. And if you've seen it there, you can barely see it. And he tore his knee, though. But anyway, and everybody keeps saying he tore his knee. See right there? See, I grabbed the back of his head and pull myself up. That's why he didn't really have time to slam me, and that's why my head didn't hit the canvas first and get knocked out. That's why I didn't fly and triangle him a second ago, because he wouldn't have caught me, and I would have hit the floor.
You would have paid for that. Yeah.
Exactly. But this guy's a trained fighter. He got kicked in the face, and I go
he's gonna
flying.
react.
His reaction is to kind of catch me, and when he did, it kind of helped me, braced my fall, and I set up the triangle.
So tell us why this is so significant. Why have there three in the history of the UFC? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, because if you look right there, you have to have one arm in and one arm out. That's something that's
Full leg and his leg.
yeah, and that's something hard to do from the standing position. But if you do give somebody like a single leg and you're standing up, you can put your single leg on the outside and jump for a flying triangle. But it's not as significant
wait.
as the flying triangle. See, watch right
You're
here.
done. Right
Watch
there.
see his knee right there.
Done.
See his knee popped. But so he ended up having surgery after the fight, and then everybody keeps commenting, well, if his knee, he had to have surgery. Well, that was because I already put him in the triangle.
Yeah, I did that to him.
You had him
I know he
soaked in
did.
that whole time.
Well, and then, like I said, you didn't see in that fight, but he had me on my stomach, had his hooks in, and was grounding and pounding me. He had a chance to finish the fight, and he did. And I got all the way back up, kicked him in the face, and then flying triangle, and got a $50,000 bonus.
Turns out that's all it takes.
Soaked it in. Oh, that was.
You kick someone in the face, you flying triangle them, $50K.
Done.
Well, $28K after taxes.
Hey,
Fucking Uncle Sam.
That's what most people don't realize, but. Dude, that's amazing.
That's what we realize probably more than a lot of people is the amount of taxes that come out. I know you do.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And I know you were in the running for submission of the year in the entire UFC. Your first bout in the UFC, correct?
Yeah.
In the running for submission of the year. Pretty amazing.
That is awesome.
That's
I'm always
amazing.
curious about the thought process. Like, you have to process so quickly. I know you train over and over, but that scenario is such a very small scenario, right? In training, that the
how many
chance
times
to
have
do
you-
a flying
That's
triangle,
great. How
right?
many times have you trained just like, oh, you know what? When this happens, I'm going to do a flying triangle, obviously.
So it's just years and years of training and instinct kick in, or did you
Muscle memory.
Did you work on scenarios like that? Did you see something in him that thought he might try to catch the leg, and you could possibly pull that off, or was it just completely in the moment?
That's completely in the well, my whole career, like I said, going back to the single leg, wrestling my whole life, I have really good takedown defense, and that actually I have 21 professional fights, and that's the first guy that's actually ever took me down with a double leg, and he took me down, but like I said, I got back to my feet because I don't like to. I'm like a fish out of water. I pop right back up. I have really good takedown defense. I've wrestled since I was 3 years old, but I like to give the single leg, and I throw a flying triangle myself. And I've been doing that for years. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I was 17. I'm 30 now, so like 13 years I've been throwing a flying triangle. And then one of my amateur fights, I kicked a guy in the face, and he grabbed it just like that. And as he came to the ground, I triangled him too, and that was in 35 seconds. So that was like
He's
right
like,
at the
no,
beginning
this
of
is
the
old
phase.
news. I've done this
When
before.
when in that process did you know, like, I got this?
Oh, as soon as we hit our back, I was
Yeah.
pretty confident.
Yeah.
I was locking it up. And then when I got his arm across and hooked the leg, it was pretty golden. So when I lock up a submission, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to finish it. And that's why if you watch the Tuesday Night Contender, I broke the record for like the most submission attempts ever on the Tuesday Night Contender. And I'm surprised I didn't finish that guy, but the reason I didn't was because there was no fans. Imagine this place right here, and you got a coach telling you, well, he's about to go for this, he's about to go for this, he's about to go for that.
Left
you know?
arm underneath.
Yeah, so it made it a lot easier for him. Cody, that was in the moment. There was no time for his coach to say, watch out for the flying triangle, Cody. So
And even if he would have, he'd be like, the what? Are you serious right now?
exactly.
So I did watch that fight, the LFA fight, and it was like you could see his opponent because Jimmy was just like, submission. Just,
that's
just,
the Tuesday Night Contender.
was that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
The LFA was in 38 seconds.
Right.
I
I did watch
got
that
him
too.
with the first submission.
So the Tuesday Night Contender, it's like, imagine you're fighting it, which we're not fighters, but let's say you had a fight that lasted more than 20 seconds. This guy was
Oxygen is involved if I have a fight that lasts more than 20
But
seconds.
here's the thing, and they're both in really good shape, but here's the thing. He was just like, oh, that didn't work. So he would move to another submission, and the guy, you could just see it on his face. He's just like, I'm done. Because he would get out of it barely, get out of it.
About snapped his arm, too.
And then,
It
yeah,
popped.
oh, man.
It popped. And
then he was just like, no, I'm done. He was like, no, fuck it, I'm out.
And that guy right there, he trains at Team Elevation, which is at Elevation in Denver, Colorado. So it's like over a mile high.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
Here in Oklahoma, we're sea level. So
Get yourself.
like just
Get
right above
yourself.
sea level. So like it's a big, big difference. And when we went to Las Vegas to fight, and so that's what I thought. I was like, man, this dude's cardio is going to be really good. And he was a Olympic, I think bronze medalist in the Greco-Roman. You know, like he even had the little tattoo of all the Olympic thing,
Yeah, yeah.
USA on him and everything. So
Now, that's the one where they get naked and get greased up and wrestle, right? Greco-Roman?
It's
they wear
singlets
singlets and stuff, but that's more
So
like old school Greco.
Yeah, Greco,
Maybe that's just how I...
yeah. So Greco-Roman wrestling is
told you
definitely
wrong.
different than UFC.
But either way, he was a good wrestler, and like you said, but we locked him up at choke after choke after submission after submission.
Yeah,
and then
man.
It was
finally-
just, you want to see a guy's just soul going out. It's like,
You can just see his will
I'm
leaving.
done. It's like, are you
commentary
serious?
even
Nah,
said
man,
it. They were
dude,
like,
it's-
"What do you do when he just keeps going?
Yeah.
You get out of one, and then there's
Yeah.
another one, and it's,
I mean, yeah, you're good.
Man, just start running, be like,
Striker. And just boom,
Stop,
boom, boom,
stop.
it's like a gnat
Striker.
at a
Boom,
barbecue.
boom,
it just
boom,
won't
boom.
go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So if you would, take us through, all right, so we've talked about it. You getting up 3, 4 a.m., year after year, just training, the grind, man. So what was you're getting ready for a fight. What was your training regime?
Starting on Monday morning, I had CrossFit, and I did CrossFit on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 6 to 7 a.m. After that, I go to work. I work from 8 to 3:30. That's Monday through Friday. And then Monday afternoon, after work at 3:30, we had sprints at 4 o'clock. And then I usually ran a couple miles before my class that started at 6:30.
I'm tired already.
Dude, when did you know He asked an awesome question. It's a great question. But dude, when did you know you could get hit in the face repeatedly? Get your fucking
Without just
your
going to
face
sleep.
kicked in and going for it. You don't have, and don't punch me in the face for this, but you don't get those years from not fucking wrestling or fighting.
Well,
So
my first.
When did you know I could get my face kicked in and I'm gonna fuck you up?
Well, that's not the game plan going into it.
No, it's never. It's like Mike Tyson said, "Hey, you have an awesome plan to get punched in the face." But,
Right. I didn't
but
Homer
you-
Simpson this. and
No,
just
no,
get
no.
beat up.
You worked your ass off, but when did you know you could take a kick in the face and keep kicking ass?
I mean, shit, since I was growing up, my brothers, they always beat me up. I had 2 older brothers,
Brothers
2
are
older
assholes.
sisters.
He's like, I've got my ass whooped so many times.
Dude, and they had, like, when I was, man, like 14 years old, I remember drinking some Natty Light. I mean, y'all top this.
Shit, been there. Been there,
Yeah,
done
but
that.
we bumped up to Broken Arrow Brewing
Yeah,
Club
yeah,
now,
yeah.
so we ain't got to drink that Natty Light now. So, but my sister's boyfriend, they tied me to a cherry picker one night, dude, and then they put oil on a cherry picker. If you know what a cherry picker is,
I know it's your thing.
That's the thing that pulls
I've
motors
changed
out of
a
it.
few engines in my life.
Yeah, so they yanked it up and had
Most
me tied
fucking
up
kids
to
can't-
it, man. Zip tied me to that thing and just kind
I
of said I
feel
got
bad.
too drunk that night, dude. And they were just like hitting me with towels and all kinds of shit
I
like that.
feel bad
man.
for those dudes right now.
Right, I didn't get to see them now, but I'm pretty sure they got their karma. So I don't even remember. I know one of them, but I don't remember who the other one was. But
So you grew up tough. You
yeah,
got
I
your
grew up
face
tough.
kicked in. It's
my
kick
sisters,
ass.
they used to claw the shit out of me.
So
you know?
older sisters, obviously.
2 older sisters, and I was
So,
the youngest, man. I
you're-
had 5 kids. So.
Dude, that is, I think that's why you're a badass fighter, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, yeah.
I have a crazy older sister myself, my mom. Yeah.
Shout out Renee.
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
Cliff Ann Ferguson. My mom's name's Cliff Ann. My grandpa's name is Clifford. Yeah. F that guy. I haven't seen him. I've seen him once. But anyways, but you have strong women in your family. And if your sisters or your mom, like my sister helped raise me, my mom beat my ass when I did something stupid. But now, so I think I'm a good dude. Except for tonight. Sorry. It's really hot out. It's not my fault. But it's the same thing. You have your older siblings that really shape your life and really think. Like my older sibling would beat the shit out of me. I either going to be a fighter or a big old baby business owner, because that's what I am now. So, I'm just kidding.
A big old baby.
But that's
Big
the
old
thing.
baby back bitch.
Having a powerful female figure in your life, did that help you as a fighter?
My sisters helped me out a lot.
I
My
would
mom-
say it's not weird. I'm saying I would say you've had sisters doing that. Do they help you?
Well,
What is that?
happening?
What is
they
that?
helped
I
me
learned it
not
from
want to
Oprah.
get clawed. You know?
Hey, okay, sorry, forget that. But they
No,
helped you.
my sisters, they, like you said, they took my mom's role a lot. Like my mom and my dad, they were involved in drugs a lot. So growing up, like we had a tough life. I even had a younger sister, but she was adopted before she was born because we were very poor. Right. So, but she knows she was, adopted. She was adopted by my mom's brother. So she knew it. She knew who her real mom and dad was. And I don't talk to her much anymore, but we did throughout life, So
You're helping out.
yeah. So, but growing up, so we had a tough life. My sisters, they had a tough life as well. They didn't, know much either. My parents let everybody come over, drink, party. If they wanted to have sex, they could have sex. It didn't matter.
So did that help you or hurt you? And you know what? I could kick ass. I'm doing this, and now I'm having kids. How did that help you?
Oh, it helped me a lot to try to stay away from it. Like, I didn't want to stay away from it. Like, growing up, I didn't even have a lot of girlfriends, dude. I didn't even care for girls for a long time until I literally got, like, 15, 16 years old. I don't think I had my own girlfriend until then, because I was just
Did you borrow
involved.
one?
Right. I just stood back and watched my brothers, and studied the game. But
learning
from disappointment. It happens.
But that's
So-
what makes you that's a huge compliment. We were talking about this earlier, is every time we talk to anybody, male or female, such a gentleman, such a good dude. And I'm like, yeah, every time I met him, he's a really good dude. He said, yes, sir, when I offered him a Gatorade. First time at the brewery, I'm like, you could
He also never
Yes,
choked you out until
sir.
tonight.
Yeah, no, he did.
So that's a-
I can't
that's a
wait to
plus.
do that.
We got it on
So
video.
no, that's amazing that a badass fighter could be a gentle soul. So sorry, I'm talking
So,
too
Jimmy.
much for you guys. So go ahead, guys.
What's next? You're 30. That's super young.
Yeah.
You obviously
Super
have
young.
plans. You got the book. What else?
Great experience already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody keeps asking, you want to open a gym? You want to open a gym?
Yeah,
I do
coaching.
not. I do not want to open a gym. I've seen what happens when you open a gym. It's no different than fighting. It's just going to take all my time, and I'm still going to have to work a full-time job.
But that's kind of the usual transition, right, within that game,
yeah,
right?
and
Fighter
that's
to trainer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's not what I want. I'll help other fighters, probably mentor them, but I want to write my book, and I want to go and be a motivational speaker, talk to people, tell my story. Especially kids from Sandsprings, Oklahoma, thinking we couldn't make it. You know, not only did I make it, I made it and quit when I wanted to quit. So, and
Which is huge
That's
and,
huge.
and
Yeah.
not usual. Yeah.
and everybody's like, they just don't understand why, and that's why I'm writing my book, and I want to finish my book, and that'll really explain everything
Say
in my
30
book.
years from now, I'll be telling the same story. Not
Yeah. And hopefully still out of
don't
arena
remember
and not
who
get
you-
punched in the face.
exactly.
Bonus.
Since he thinks that's what I figured out. I was like, hey, I can get punched in the face, so I should fight.
That's when
Give
you
me a
knew.
picture. Give me
That's
a
when I
picture.
knew.
Absolutely.
So then,
Nice.
yeah, so to expand on that, so what really made you choose to go that route? Again, we started down this path earlier, right? You were from an outsider standpoint, you were on this climb, right? This amazing climb, and you've worked so hard for so long. Ultimately, what are the things that you set down? And we were there whenever you announced it, but what were the things that made you choose pretty quickly? Because we were actually talking about something within a couple of weeks before that would be to the contrary. So what made you choose? It's like, hey, this is it.
Was there one aha moment or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There was a lot, and that's what I try to tell people, you know, if we said what was the reason and you put it into 100% perspective, I got about 10 different reasons at 10%, you know, but the main reason was starting this journey a long time ago. I started with my father and I started with my brother, and we got in this together, and we all had, you know, plans of what we wanted to do or what we could do, you know, and if we were going to make it. And after my wife got pregnant and I moved back to Oklahoma, my brother and my dad ended up back in Oklahoma, and they ended up doing drugs again. And our life in Oklahoma was different from our life in Texas. In Texas, we painted a whole different picture, you know, dope down there is not popular. You can get coke and stuff like that, and they still did that, but it's not like dope. And dope's always changed my parents' life. My dad was in prison. When I was 6 years old, we got busted, and my dad went to prison for a couple years, and that's another reason I had a tough life, and I never wanted to live that life. Well, throughout my career, my dad was always in my corner, my brother was always in my corner, and I think it was I was 8-2, and so coming up on my 11th professional fight, and it was the first time I ever told my father he couldn't be in my corner. And I knew it broke his heart, but he was breaking my heart because he knew I knew he was back on drugs.
Did you have kids at that point?
Oh yeah, I already had a little girl at that point, and my dad, he really didn't try to see my kids much, and just today
Did that
he
make a
still,
huge?
Oh, it made a
spot?
huge difference.
You're not seeing my daughter. You're not going to be in my corner.
Oh yeah, me's one thing, but that had nothing to do with it at that time. It was really the drug aspect, and I was embarrassed by my father. He didn't look right, you know. I mean, you look like I do when I cut weight, you know, but I recover within 24 hours, you know. And it was embarrassing, but I told my father I'd buy him and my mom tickets that night, you know. So I bought him tickets to that fight, and this was, 4 or 5 years ago. And that night I ended up losing, and I got TKO'd. The guy kept punching me. I kept moving, but he's a big guy, and I was at 135 pounds at that time.
Big, heavy.
bigger, you know. And so I thought that's where I wanted to be, but I wasn't the bigger, stronger guy, and that guy proved it that night. Well, after the fight, you know, my parents had some people with them, which were obviously other druggy people, you know. And I mean, they say don't judge a book by its cover, and that's not what I'm doing here. I've known the people my whole life. I know what they're about, you know, and they don't hide it at all. And my parents tried to, but I'm adult now. Yeah. So I could see it.
So it was obvious.
Yeah. Well, later that night, 4:00 in the morning, somebody asked what happened with my fight, and they still haven't admitted it to this day, but one of them posted that I got knocked the fuck out, you know. And I did get beat up, and they punched me until the ref stopped. But even when the ref stopped it, I stood up and ran around the cage because I didn't want him to stop it, but I couldn't stop the guy from fucking punching me, you know. And so then it was pretty heartbreaking, you know, to see that on social media. And we went back and forth for a while, didn't talk for a long time. Finally started talking again, and then throughout life, it just hasn't been the same. Well, then when I fought on the Tuesday Night Contender, I reached out to my father, told him I really wanted him to be there, you know, start trying to, you know, do more. And
Rekindle.
Yeah, and he just wouldn't do it. My mom, she started to. She comes out to my house and sees my kids. They live in a camper behind my grandma's house, you know, so I don't allow my kids to go over there. I know what goes on over there.
Well,
you know?
here's the thing that I want to, and sorry not to end, I know we're getting close in our time here, guys, but dude, you have been, we've all been seeing you since FCF, because we've been t-shirts and sponsors of FCF. So to see you do this, but you to share your story is amazing. But now you have an amazing family. You're retired. You got money. You're writing a book. It's amazing. So now your story, and that could be a second book, is that you went through so much shit. And now look at you, look at your family, and that's what's amazing. So I'm gonna do that as a takeaway here. That I'm gonna call you Billy Badass because I think it's gonna be on camera. I'm gonna cry when my wife sees it.
And I think he actually took the worst of it because he ended up.
I hit
his
my head.
He did hit that.
Into the
You
wall.
almost won by default.
But he made a 300-pound fat kid look like a little girl. So, but Jimmy, I just want to say thank you so much, and I hope we're gonna do this again. And I still want to talk to you. And you have an amazing story, and you have an amazing family. But Brad, sorry I'm talking to Jason, but I'm Austin Ferguson.
So because we're not done yet. So when it keep
I'll go into
Mike's
it.
got his work cut out.
Yeah.
He's going to have to mix this all around.
Hey, sorry, Mike.
I thought he
Make
was
it
saying-
flow.
I thought he was
Hey, do
going
you,
like
Mike.
this.
It's a
Make
good
it
thing.
flow.
It's a good thing Mike is really, really good at what he does.
I saw him jumping back there. I'm sorry.
So-
All right, but to get to the gist of it, I was training for a fight. I was training for the UFC 125-pound champ's brother. So I was training for the champ's brother of the UFC. Like, that's the biggest option I could have, you know, coming into the UFC in my second fight. And I met my father, and I'd seen him at Easter on Easter weekend. And as I talked to my father, he just really didn't have no care to want to be there anymore. He told me he was proud of me, but I took it a different way. It was like he was just saying it because he felt he was meant to say it.
Yeah.
And I
He
was
was
not.
there for
Yeah.
being there.
And the next morning when I woke up, there was just something on my heart, and I realized, you know what? I'm not putting my kids through this. I'm going to be there for my fucking kids. Fuck the money. Fuck the fame. I did what I wanted to do. I made the UFC. I showed people that you come from nothing, you can still accomplish something. And I'm going out on my terms, and that's what I did. And
amazing.
that's one of the biggest reasons.
Your
And
goals, you hit them.
Big old balls. And this is what we've talked about this too, because at the time you're walking out, kind of, and I know you haven't won a belt in UFC, but it's pretty fucking established, brother. So you've gone up there, but to actually go on Jason's question from earlier, like, what's next? You got the book. You want to be there for your family. You know, what are the career plans? Are you staying with where you're at? Are you what's your plan? What do you guys? I know you guys have talked. Like, what's your plan?
My wife, she's a nail technician, and we've been working on a business with her.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought a building, and we got land, and we got the building on the land. We put a lot of work into it, and I want to get her building open and her to chase her goals and her dreams and do what she wants to do. She's been with me we've been married for 9 years, been together for 10 years. And I've been fighting every year. You know?
And she's
You're
been
a
your
dude
support.
now.
She's
She's
been
been
there doing all this.
Oh, and she
taking
ain't
care of the
left
home.
me. She's never, gave up on me or nothing. So now it's time to help her and then also see what my kids want to do. I put my 9-year-old into Muay Thai, and she liked it for a while, but she wants to do something else, So that's what I want them to do. I want to be there and be that soccer dad, that, cheerleading dad, whatever I got to do. I'm done
I'm both
cutting
right
weight.
now, and it is pretty awesome. Dude.
Right. So I'm ready to do that. I don't care about anything else. So.
That's amazing,
Right
man.
on.
That's so cool. Well, yeah, like Austin was saying, thank you so much for making the time, coming out. It's a pretty amazing story. Again, what Austin was saying
100%. It's amazing.
I'll read the book. Shit, I'll read it.
I'm gonna read it, and I could read pretty goodly.
As long as it's not above a 3rd grade level, Austin's got you too. He'll read it probably.
If there's pictures,
Golden, huh?
but Jimmy,
Wait.
Right,
I'm a little upset. Don't take this the wrong way because I ain't trying to fight you for sure. I definitely wanted you to choke him out though. Like we talked about this.
It was close, but hey,
He was barely even
Jimmy,
red. His face was barely red.
so I was.
How close were you,
I
Austin?
kind of
How
got
close were you?
embarrassed.
I got scared.
Did you
man.
pee a little?
He's
He got
big
me. No, he
guy.
got me scared. So
Did you
Scared
feel
that it was going to be hard to get
So
him up
I
into
got-
the
I'm
ambulance.
about
That
to
he
pee a
might
little.
fall asleep on me.
All right, hey, I'm about to ask you a question. Probably two. I'm gonna give
Two questions. You're on your phone looking for those questions.
So not even a question, but I was talking to my wife. She's super immature. So
your
I
wife
told
is
her-
100 times more mature than you.
no. She was yelling at me. I was like, "Hey, get on my fort." So.
Oh yes, okay. But you got to set it up. You got to set it up.
I did. That was pretty fucking funny. So hey, no. So here's not. This is actually all right. One more quick question for Jimmy. So you're in construction, your body. I've been in construction my whole life, but you want to hear a construction joke?
Construction.
Is this going to be a thing? Austin
wanna
tells
hear
jokes every time now. This is a
Do
thing.
you want to hear a construction joke?
Yes.
I'm still working on it.
We thought you would.
That's kind of funny. Okay. So literally one more thing.
Oh, is this where you got a number 3? There's the number 3.
No, this is
2.5.
actually this is you want to know the last thing my grandfather said to me.
Why are you
before
looking at me? You're supposed to be looking
No,
at
no,
him.
I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. What was the
You're making
last
fun of me.
thing your grandfather
My
said to you?
grandfather said before he kicked the bucket. Austin, I'm about to kick the bucket. So it was a weird conversation with him. So
Was that the construction joke?
I think there's 2 different things. I'm not sure.
He put his phone up after that.
I had a really cool punchline for that, and I was going to say nailed it because it was a construction joke, and then
no.
and then
I'm still working on it. Get it? I'm still working on it.
The construction. Yeah, you're reading.
Yes.
I see.
So I'm about to run into something
this
on the way
is
home.
the
all right.
type of stuff that
One
keeps people
more,
coming back.
and this could be for the outtakes.
That's what
I
makes
just
us
heard
viral.
so many subscribe
Jason.
buttons get clicked right then.
Jason, this
I
is for
felt
you
it.
because you're so witty.
Sweaty? Did you say 'cause
So-
I was-
Witty.
or
Witty.
witty.
I'm sweating my dick off right now. Hey, don't put that on, Spencer. Hey,
you got this, Spence.
hey. Why do melons have weddings?
Because they can't elope.
Because they can't elope. You fucking dad joke.
You guys have read
So,
all the
He
dad
got
jokes.
it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you, everybody.
Hey,
here
so,
for-
Hey, I'm still waiting for the construction show.
He's like, where's the fucking
He's like, I was
punchline, bro?
told.